So we're going to be completely rebuilding this engine with sport parts. And the first thing we're going to do is move this car to the dyno. And in here in the dyno, let's do the dyno from factory out of 3837. And I'm assuming since it, there's no bad parts, it should be about the same. Or exactly the same. Of course, there's one modified part of it. The fuel filter is modified, so that's probably why. No, actually, the fuel pump is modified. That's why it makes 342 horsepower. Now, the only thing about the Ford Focus RS is that it uses the inline 4B engine, which isn't really... You don't have as many customizable parts. Like, you don't have custom turbos, you don't have custom manifolds, and that sort of thing. But, so, the first thing we have to do is take the engine cover off. And now that is off, we can start working on this engine. So what we're going to be doing is taking everything out of the engine down to the pistons. And this is a inline 4, so it's a pretty small engine, which means it should be pretty fast to take apart. Power steering pump, alternator. Now I got to get this crankshaft pulley, timing cover. We're going to try and work in a circular motion. So now let's take this exhaust manifold off. And now let's take this turbo off. I'm not going to be doing much to the... I'm only going to be doing one part on the exhaust because I don't want this car to sound like a fart cannon. Because it's a 4-cylinder and loud 4-cylinders do not sound good. So I'm assuming since there aren't too many customizable parts on this car, it may make about maybe 400 horsepower. I don't know, just something like that. Now let's take this air filter off. And get that clip and that clip. Now let's take this air filter out. Now that we have that out, I'll put it back on later. And that stuff can stay. Take these ignition coils out. Now let's put these, let's take the spark plugs out. I'll take this engine cover off. And so now that that is off, I'm going to continue working on this. Let's take the bolt tensioner off. And serpentine belt, idler, cam gear. Wait, I just popped my head through the engine. So now let's take the water pump off. And now let's take this idler roller off. And let's see, so this is the crankshaft, yeah. And this is a tedious process of taking these off. So I'm just going to take off one side and then skip the other part. Okay, we got that off. Now, let's see, so what do we need to take off? Oh yeah, we need to go to this side. Take this timing cover off, I guess. And then this engine has a timing chain. I don't know if that's intentional or not. The last time I checked, timing chains aren't in that many new cars. Unless this guy didn't make the custom engine, so yeah, that might be what it is. And look, we're already down to the pistons. Of course, we won't be able to get to the pistons just yet, but let's lift her up. And again. So now let's, this actually has a V8 muffler, which is kind of weird. So, but right now I'm just upgrading the middle muffler with a better muffler. And so now let's see. Right now, we need to take off this. And to take off the gearbox, obviously I'm going to need to take off this. And this is a four-wheel drive, well, all-wheel drive inline four, so it kind of looks weird up here, but come on, get. Sometimes the camera in this game is kind of finicky. Let's see, just the right angle. And I need to get these ones. But as I showed, this has the custom fuel pump. Yeah, it is. And okay. I'm thinking something they could be able to add is like when you do like track days and that sort of thing, like take the car out to the track, it gets damaged, like the wheels and that sort of thing get damaged. Well, not the wheels, but like the tires and that sort of thing. And you know, like if you hit a big bump or you hit a pothole, it can hurt the suspension. Those are types of things that I wish could happen in this game. And like you have to refill the oil and that sort of stuff. Now we can take off the gearbox. And there we go. We got the gearbox off. Now we need to take out the internals of the clutch and keep them off, because I need to get to take the whole engine out. Flywheel. And I need to get the oil pan over here. Let's see, where is it? Okay, it's over here. Little drain, let's see. Lifter A. Use it. And move equipment, place back. Get the oil pan off. Nice and simple. Now we're down here to the internals of the engine. Start taking off all of these. You know, actually, I'm gonna leave these since there's nothing to do with them, so I'm just gonna leave those. Just go take off the rod caps. And this rod cap is off now. So if I lower the car, I mean the majority of like the actual engine block is still there, as you can see here, but everything else is completely taken off. Piston, 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 and piston. So now let's mount these new parts. 4 pistons with conrods, obviously. And there's that one. Let's put this turbo on, well, back on. And we'll put the air filter on now. Air filter cover. Now I need to put on these clips. I do this so that I don't have to do it later. And now let's get this last clip. Let's get the battery. Good. And now let's put the head on. Manifold inline 4B. It looks like it's plastic. It just, from this distance, it looks like it's plastic. Let's put this throttle on it. Alternator. Water pump. Idler. Let's see, so there's 1, 2, And is that really all of the idler rollers, or is there more? So now I'm counting 2. And there's that one. The gotta let the fuel rails in. Let's put the camshaft on. Camshaft in line 4B. And I hate putting these in. It's worse to put them in than it is to take out. I don't know why, but just feels like it's a more lengthy process to put it in. That one. And while I'm putting those in, working around in the engine head, put these spark plugs in. Let's continue with the camshaft caps. Whenever I say camshaft, I want to say crankshaft. And this engine cover. And exhaust manifold. And that is now on. Fuel filter. Cam gear. Timing chain. Cam gear B. Timing cover B. Wait, there. And now let's serpentine belt and that stuff on. Alright, got this belt tensioner. Let's put this timing cover on. Wait, did I miss a screw? Oh yeah, I did. Now let's put this big crankshaft pulley on here. Power steering. Serpentine belt B. Okay, so now there's 3 idler rollers that I can see. And that's pretty much it for the idler rollers. So now let's lift it up. And start working on this side. Let's see, we need to put the flywheel, the clutch plate, clutch pressure plate, and then the clutch release bearing, and then gearbox. And then there we go. Got that. Now we can put this front drive shaft on, and then we can put these drive axles. Now let's put the wheels on. Classic star pattern. There we go. So put the rear drive shaft on. If it would actually get the right camera to do it. Okay, there we go. And now, just about done. Put this drive axle. Now this wheel, star pattern. Now let's the rod caps on, and the oil pan, and rod cap. And there's obviously 4 rod caps because 4 pistons. And then oil pan. So now what do we need to do? Starter. Put that in. First let's lower it. And let's see, so part mounts, what do we need to mount? Starter. Can't really see much else that I need to mount onto the car. So now let's just fill it up with oil. And then when it goes down halfway, that means that we're done putting oil. And see right there. And now let's go into assemble mode. Put this engine cover on. Normal mode. Make sure we put everything on. Yep, we put everything on. Now let's move this car over to the dyno. There we go. Let's go over to the dyno now. Dyno is right over here. Let's just close that. Alright, start the dyno, and we'll see how much more horsepower we make. So it was at 342. Now let's see what it's at. Seems a bit higher, just from the graph. And we made 452 horsepower. That's a lot more than I was thinking. I thought we were going to make maybe a little under 400, but we made 52 more horsepower than 400. And that's good. Torque also went up to 585. So now let's I'm gonna hope, since it's all-wheel drive, that I can drive it without having to change the wheels. So garage entrance A. Now let's go over to car. Now we're going to drive it to the test track. So now we're at the test track, and also now that the game is lagging crazily. Okay, now it's not lagging as horrible. For some reason, just looking in that direction like lags the game, and then you look over here and it's kinda, I can't. It's just not good. So now, oh god, I don't know what's happening to the game right now. It's lagging terribly. Like right there, it went up to like 100. Now it's not good. Now the game's running at 20 FPS. It's like randomly goes up to like over 100 FPS. Okay, I have no clue what's happening right now. Okay, so we're here at the airport because other maps were, for some reason, lagging my game to death. But this map runs at super smooth, like exactly 100 FPS. So now this is where I'm going to test the car to see if it drives good, and it does. It corners nicely even while going 160 kilometers an hour. Yes, I did the say cornering at 160 kilometers an hour. That's what I can get for the top speed. And I'm at 260 is the top speed. $260 kilometers an hour, that's pretty fast. Let's see if we can do a J-turn. Yeah, good, but since this game has terrible gearing, you know, it's not the car's fault for not being able to do a great J-turn. So, hopefully that's it.